Hey everybody, it is Saturday night and I'm just about to get the lights turned out here in the fish room. In fact, I've already got all the lights turned out except for my waterfall tank here. And I always enjoy sitting here watching what I think of as my sunset on the waterfall tank. So I thought I would share a few minutes with everybody. This tank's shaping up really nicely. I'm really happy with the way the vegetation is just kind of growing in thick. I'm really surprised the temple plant that I've got in there, sort of center your screen now, is not really growing up and out of the water like I expected it to. I'm kind of happy it's not, but at the same time I sort of wanted to see that and see what it would look like in this environment. But it's still growing, so there's still certainly plenty of hope for it. There's a good look at that new high fin platy that I've got. I got several more that are very similar in color with the really dark fins but that bright blue body, and I bought 3 blue wags that again look very similar. They just don't have those really high dorsal fins like that. So they're all still in quarantine. I've got some platinum guppies that are going to come into this tank, and I'm not entirely sure. I've got one female fancy guppy that I'm going to put with some other guppies and see if I can't make some new guppies. Shouldn't be too difficult. I don't particularly care about the strain or anything like that. I'm just trying to get some more fish out of it, and I'm not sure where that's going to happen though. I think most of my tanks at this point would be sort of poor nurseries. Imagine trying to get some fry to take in this tank and grow up. I got so many predatory fish in here, it's just ridiculous. So I don't know, maybe they'll just stay in the quarantine tank for a little while until I start getting some extra fish in my quarantine tank. Who knows, that's a possibility. The only other fish that I'm still waiting to see, and that's kind of another reason I like to sit here in the evenings, as of late anyway, is the bristlenose pleco I put in this tank. I did see it one time since it's been in here, and I've not seen it since, although on a few occasions I have seen some very clean marks on either the wood or some of the rocks, and I didn't get the impression that it was made by a snail, so it would have had to have been made by a very small pleco. And it is a really small bristlenose pleco. It's about the size of that little yellow endler you can see swimming around right there. It's possibly even a little smaller than that. And the last time I saw it, it was on the Java Windelov right here, all that Java fern. And one of the guppies was actually kind of harassing it and pecking at it, and it kind of swam down and burrowed itself a little bit deeper down into the foliage there, and I've not seen it since. So as small as it is, it's got a million places it could hide, so I'm not worried about it. I don't think it's gonna not make it or not survive or anything. It did fine through the quarantine process and everything, so it's got loads of food in there. Not only do I feed the tank well, but just for natural forage for fish like a bristlenose, which is a off-flux grazer. You know, they scrape the biofilm and the growth off of surfaces, and there is no shortage of that in this tank. So between the food I put in there and the natural forage, that, you know, little bristlenose should grow really fast, and it shouldn't be too long before it starts popping up and we start seeing it from time to time. And of course those Buenos Aires Tetras are the other fairly new fish, the ones we've been seeing swimming around in a group right there. Now I'm hoping they get as big as several people have been telling me they're going to get. And when you think about it, these are fresh from the fish store, so they're coming home small. You know, these aren't full-grown fish. These are fish store small young stock size, and they're already the size of my skirt tetras in this tank, so that ought to be enough of an indication to me that they're going to be pretty substantial once they fill in over the next year or so, because, you know, it takes a little while for fish to really finally achieve their maximum size. And of course that also depends on what their ultimate lifespan is expected to be. Fish are indeterminate growers. They grow throughout their whole lives, but the older they get, the slower that growth becomes, and it's not a linear process. You get a lot of rapid growth when the fish are younger, But as they age, again, that growth slows and slows, and it's again just not a linear process. So over the next year or two, we should see those Buenos Aires getting nice and big. And they're really active. They're surprisingly active. I didn't think they were going to be darting and dashing around the tank as much as they do. And if they get as big as they're expected to get, maybe a 40-gallon tank might be a little on the cramped size for them if they're this active. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, there's just a little look on a Saturday evening. This is my waterfall tank. So if you enjoyed that, make sure you're subscribed. You don't want to miss anything I've got coming up. You never know what it's going to be with me. So thanks for watching that one. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you real soon in the next one.